We welcome you into the building, everybody, alongside Joe Lenardi, Matt Martucci. 4 regular season games left for VCU, 3 of them left for St. Joe's, but this has special meaning for both of these schools for very different reasons.
In the case of the Rams, Matt, it's simple. Keep winning and win the regular season title, the #1 seed, and keep their at-large chances alive for the NCAA tournament. They've been the most consistent team in the league all year long, and I'm looking forward to seeing them in person. For the Hawks, a different story. It's been a long time since SJU has avoided day 1 of the conference tournament, but with 3 games left, they need at least one of them, maybe 2, to get that bye and the prestige that comes with getting to watch the other guys play.
This VCU team that has not been short on drama in terms of its conference road games. Just a week ago, won on a buzzer beater up at URI. But why are they different when Ace Baldwin is right?
I just think Ace Baldwin is the extension of Coach Mike Rhodes, and to me, he's the most valuable player in the Atlantic 10. I say that because he's the main cog on what's been the most consistently good team in the Atlantic 10. His shot has improved. His defense has never been a question. When he's healthy, he's a star.
And he's a year older than Eric Reynolds, who's on a similar trajectory, all rookie to all conference maybe.
Yeah, I think if you want to pick a top young backcourt in this league and drafting an A-10 team from scratch, you could do a lot worse than these two. Reynolds, a walking basket when he gets it going for the Hawks.
Back at Hagan Arena for St. Joe's and VCU. One of a pair of games tonight in the Atlantic 10. Let's take a look at our VCU starting lineups. We talked about Ace Baldwin in our open. Brandon Johns Jr., the other one we focus on, the Michigan transfer, who's averaging double figures for the first time in his career. Nick Kern is off of what was a career game in their blowout of Fordham on Saturday. And for St. Joe's, talked about Reynolds. Lynn Greer has been the difference as to why they were able to turn this around from an 0-4 conference start. Rasheer Fleming off of what was his best Atlantic 10 conference game on the road Saturday at Davidson. And then C.J. Coleman starting for the first time in over a year in place of the injured Ejike Obina, who's out with a foot injury. Our keys tonight for the visiting Rams.
You start with VCU force turnovers. That's what they do. They've crushed the Hawks in that category in the team's last 2 meetings. That allows them to play from in front, which means you take more chances and it feeds a negative cycle.
And for Billy Lang at St. Joe's.
I mean, you always want to value possessions, but it's especially important against a team like VCU. And, you know, the secret, if there is one, you break the initial defense, make a good second pass, and you can get some easy baskets.
Ready to roll here at Philadelphia. Two teams have split in the city of brotherly love, and it's Ace Baldwin at the controls for VCU. Johns with a quick look from 3 and leaves it 1 and done, and Greer with the defensive rebound. St. Joe's a 1-point loss to Davidson. VCU beat Fordham by 19 after what was a tough road trip where they almost didn't leave Kingston, Rhode Island with a victory.
Yeah, just a great end-to-end play to win it for the Rams. Zeb Jackson, one of 2 Michigan transfers on VCU's roster. He was the hero that night.
Yeah, he and Johns committing what was 4 days apart when they decided to join Mike Rhodes' roster. And that's an over and back on Reynolds, says Brent Hampton, who's out there with Tim Clockerty and Tommy Morrissey tonight.
Not encouraging. It only takes the Hawks 40 seconds to commit a turnover, and you know, we've seen some nightmares against this team in the backcourt over the years.
52 in the last 2 meetings combined. Jayden Nunn putting it on the deck. Nice hop to the lane. And VCU gets the scoring started. It's the sophomore from Flint, Michigan. Rams entered the night up a game on Dayton. 4 regular season games left for them, including this one. St. Joe's with what's 3 left. Brown got the bounce inside 10. Elects not to use the screen. Somebody's open. It's Greer. And left it on the heel. The defensive rebound for Jalen DeLoach. And DeLoach, miscommunication there with Baldwin, and dribbles it out of bounds. Mike Rhodes called this one of his deepest rosters this year. What is year 6 in Richmond for the son of a Pennsylvania State Senator, Coach Rhodes, and the pride of Mahanoy Area High School.
Of course, he was also a longtime assistant to Shaka Smart in those glory years for the program.
Yep. Fleming with a nice find. It stops with Reynolds and spins it out with 10 on the shot clock. Bounce game for Johns. Greer backing off Nunn, who can hit that and does. 34% shooter Jayden Nunn has all 5 of the VCU points.
He may not be first on the scouting report, but this is a balanced team. 9 guys in double-figure minutes.
1 second, guys.
Joe Lenardi just got involved in the action.
It's my first clean catch of the year. Only clean catch of the year. Quez Watkins does that, and the Eagles win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter or anything.
I don't even know if I can really laugh about that at this point. Shot clock cut in half. Reynolds navigating the baseline. Good close there by Johns. And that's out of bounds. Last touch by St. Joe's. Look, there's your catch.
We need a replay on that, saved for life. My athleticism has frequently and correctly been questioned.
Proving to households everywhere that you can catch.
Very funny.
Nunn, top of the key, and all 8 now.
Hawks need to prove to their fans here that they can score before this gets out of hand. What I notice, Matt, about VCU that differs.
As Greer goes up and gets this bucket, +1.
Need to break the seal, did Lynn Greer for the Hawks, but a little less frantic in their full court defense under Mike Rhodes versus Shaka Smart, as Kasper Kwachik makes his first return after a long illness. But they're much more sound in the half court, and they can grind possessions away even if you beat the initial pressure.
Came in carrying the torch for the Atlantic 10. And what somebody sitting to my right has is a 1-bid league.
Well, it's not just the guy to your right.
Yeah, there are a lot of people. Johns navigating. Brown got the block. VCU's opened up 3 of its first 4. St. Joe's only 1 of 4. Kwachik changes that. Rattles home the triple.
That has to feel pretty good. Kasper lost some weight, it looks like, but now he just commits a foul, bumping in the lane with Johns. Seemed a little incidental to me, but that's what Billy Lang thinks as well. This is the clean look from the corner. And the Hawks answer VCU's 8-0 start with a 6-0 run of their own.
Greer, the 3-point play the old-fashioned way. And then the triple from Kwachik. All 8 for VCU from Jayden Nunn. David Shriver, the Hartford transfer, their sharpshooter newly in for VCU. Nunn right down the alley with a little finger roll.
And Cameron Brown went for that loose ball, dove for it, was out of bounds. Nunn realizing, hey, that's my man, and he just drove to the rim unabated.
Already in double figures for the 13th time this year, Jayden Nunn, all 10 for the Rams. Greer and Coleman trying to get the handle on that, got all glass, and that was it. Transition for the Rams, and DeLoach over the top, punches it down.
DeLoach coming off what looked like a scary injury a couple of games ago and looked awfully healthy, skying for that dunk.
And even Saturday had 11 and 8. Reynolds left it short. Ball knocked out of bounds. And good start for the Rams, who have 6 road wins on their resume. Jayden DeLoach punching it down. 6-point lead for Mike Rhodes' guys. Back at Hagan Arena, VCU by 6. Our tale of the tape between these two tonight. Winded down the Atlantic 10 regular season. Hawks a better rebounding team, but VCU's bread and butter, forcing turnovers, as it has been, whether it was Mike Rhodes, Will Wade, or Shaka Smart. And a couple of Ken Palm numbers too. They come in with the 28th highest defensive efficiency, and also get to the foul line as much as anybody in the nation at the 6th highest clip. And they don't have to deal with Ejike Obina tonight. It really started to come on as of late. Played a really good game down at Belk Arena. Had 15 and 9.
Yeah, heartbreaking loss for the Hawks, who led for much of that game. Lost on a free throw with 1/10 of a second remaining. Obina got tangled up in the second half on a pretty innocuous play in the lane, turned his foot a little bit, and actually, you know, pretty much played the rest of the way, but it bothered him after and since.
We saw C.J. Aiken before the game, who blocked over 300 shots in his St. Joe's career, as Jansen gets hit with the moving screen here.
Baldwin goes down hard. Mike Rhodes quickly out there.
Asked C.J., do you have any more eligibility, considering he averaged about 3 block shots a game?
Yeah, we'll see this. I mean, I don't think an intent to injure by Jansen, but a foul.
Yes, it is. Second team foul on St. Joe's. The Michigan transfer, Zeb Jackson, newly in for Mike Rhodes' guys, and at the controls. Out there with DeLoach and Shriver. Watkins and Nunn, who unloads this one and hits another. Jaden Nunn's career high is 24. He's halfway there.
Hawks would like not for him to get it this half.
Yeah. VCU by 9 here early on.
Another turnover.
DeLoach jumped the passing lane. And gets his second bucket. 4 for Jayden DeLoach, the Savannah, Georgia product.
In fairness, only the second turnover for SJU, but instant offense for the Rams as they convert.
Kwachik already has 1. And apparently foul before he threw the ball away. Otherwise, Nunn was going to have points 14 and 15 pretty easy. That last foul on DeLoach.
Fumble by Jansen, and too easy for DeLoach, who's got a couple buckets right at the rim.
It's only he and Nunn that have done all the scoring. Combined for all 17 for VCU. Brown using the Kwachik screen. Long on the 3-point attempt. Defensive rebound for Jackson. And gets it back from his former Michigan and now current VCU teammate, Brandon Johns.
Well, the first key was valuing possessions for SJU. And I don't think we can check that box just yet.
Nunn continues to go off. 15 now for Jayden Nunn.
And there's the small matter of guarding the other team. VCU having its way on the road, and they've been a terrific road team. They always have been, Matt, and it's because defense always travels.
Yeah, I mean, trailed by 4 late at Dayton and 1 in the final 28 seconds. Ace Baldwin had an elbow jumper back in late January to take out Davidson. And we talked about the Zeb Jackson shot.
And they won at St. Louis as well.
John's extra pass turned it over. Reynolds and Brown, I think, might have gotten away with an extra step or 2 there.
Step or not, that's what the Hawks need to do when the pressure is full court, is not just break it, but then look to score. Going to need a lot more of that.
And we get another foul call on Kacper Kwachik.
Now Billy Lang, leaning against the scorer's table, thought it was going to be an illegal screen on the Rams. Instead, in an already shorthanded front court, he loses Quacha quickly to a couple of fouls.
He'll sit down in favor of Rasheer Fleming. No, I was mistaken on Cam Brown.
You're allowed.
Early on, 3 St. Joe's turnovers. VCU with 7 points off those turnovers. Johns whirling Dervish right to the lane.
Athletically, Jansen's just not yet at the stage of his career where he's going to be able to match those VCU interior players when they make post moves. He's just at a disadvantage foot speed wise.
Johns becomes the 3rd Ram to score. Foul at this end on VCU. And it's on Johns. Oh no, it's Jackson. First one in the team, 3rd. So Johns with 1, DeLoach with 1, and Jackson with 1. Janssen sits down. Kowalczyk also on the bench with those 2 personals. Cameron Brown, Eric Reynolds, C.J. Coleman, Rasheer Fleming, and Christian Winborn for St. Joe's. David Shriver, Ace Baldwin, along with Zeb Jackson, Brandon Johns, and Jameer Watkins, the Trenton native for VCU. Shot clock down to 2. Brown has to be the bailout, and that's a shot clock violation.
But we've seen 2 or 3 of those hero ball shots late in the clock by the Hawks, and that's all about VCU digging in the half court. If and when they do make the postseason, Matt, if they're able to play that kind of half court defense, that's going to keep them in pretty much every game.
And their depth isn't going to hurt either. Jackson takes a tumble. Watkins dropped it off. Johns sent away by Coleman.
Coleman may be awkward around the basket on offense, but not at that end. Whoops.
And Fleming up and down. All VCU here at Hagan Arena. 64% out of the gate for the Rams and an 11-point lead. VCU's lead keeps growing. It's been as many as 13, now 10. With the final 2 weeks of this Atlanta 10 regular season on tap. And Jayden Nunn wouldn't even know he's on the road tonight.
Well, they say Hagan Arena is a terrific shooting background, Matt. We hear that from visiting teams all the time. And from a Hawks standpoint, I don't think we need to see it demonstrated quite so frequently.
9 of their first 14 VCU, 3 of 4 from the perimeter. And the 15 points from Nunn, 15 of the 21.
And throw in 5 turnovers in a little over 8 minutes for the Hawks, and you have the makings of a lopsided score.
Jackson, good footwork, got it blocked. Brown comes down with it, but Baldwin doing what he does. The league steals leader, dropping it off to Jackson. And a foul call.
And Cam Brown, a senior, knows better than to throw that pass. Turnover number 6. And when you turn it over at that rate against a team that forces turnovers on a quarter of their defensive possessions, you just can't make it up. You don't have the ball enough.
Sends Jackson to the line. The elbow jumper up at the Ryan Center that beat URI for Zeb Jackson. It was a difference of about 10 feet in either direction. The overplay for Rhodey versus being able to get the shot off for Jackson. I know because Archie Miller showed it to us Friday. Nunn back in. Jackson sits down after getting both. And we're back to VCU's largest lead of the evening.
I'm sure he shared that information with great finesse and delicacy.
Very adamant, I would say. in terms of the demonstration. Nice bounce from DeLoach. Setting up Watkins. Had to extend a little more over Coleman. Offensive glass, Johns. Out to Nunn. Last person you want to shoot it, and hits it again. $18 now for Jayden Nunn, who's doing it Delonte West. He's 7 for his first 7. And he's hit all 4 of his threes.
Has he got his career high yet?
He's getting there.
I actually thought Coleman got a piece of the initial shot inside, and the Hawks seemed to have the ball pretty bottled up, but that left a really long closeout for Eric Reynolds, and certainly not one that would deter Nunn.
34% shooter coming in, putting on a clinic this evening. St. Joe's, meanwhile, only 1 of 6 from the perimeter and has given it away, 6 different times. And the VCU capitalizing to the tune of 9 points off those turnovers.
I mean, this is the kind of game where if you're the Hawks, as you know, we look at VCU's path to a regular season championship, they got to win out. Because they do not control their destiny due to a split with Dayton and then tiebreakers down the line in the league, which I have to think change back in their favor if they sweep St. Louis. Of course, they'll have the huge rivalry game at the Signal Center on Friday night against Richmond, which certainly gives us an opportunity to wish Richmond coach Chris Mooney all the best as he takes care of some medical issues. Chris, we're thinking of you, pal.
Yeah, you've been in this league as long as we both have, and you really develop an appreciation and friendships with a lot of people. Chris Mooney is one of those guys.
Certainly always been great to us.
Yes.
Philly native. And always likes to point out, and if you're listening, Chris, he led the nation in minutes played his senior year for Pete Carell. As he likes to say, a Hall of Fame coach thought enough of me to keep running me out there.
Greer gets hit with a foul call on VCU. It's on Ace Baldwin. 4th team foul on the Rams. I mean, honestly, the way this first half is going, getting to the line, maybe St. Joe's only saving grace if they can do it.
Well, it's no secret. I mean, with VCU's aggressive defense, they're one of those teams where you could almost call a foul on most possessions. But you have to play through that and be strong with the ball and not get trapped, as Quatrick just did on the baseline.
Reynolds capitalizing.
Well, the Hawks give the Rams a brief taste of their own medicine. VCU steals it and then gives it right back. Reynolds in position to make them pay.
Only the Rams' 3rd turnover of the night. Johns with the spin dribble. Lost the handle. Baldwin right to the cup and around Fleming.
Well, Johns made the play with his hustle, and you talk to the Rams staff, and when they talk about the former Michigan forward, they're like, hey, we got a Big Ten 4-man who can do all the dirty work for us, and he's older. And that really, really is a difference maker for VCU this year at that position, particularly losing Vince Williams to the NBA draft.
And funny enough, Zeb Jackson, who was on that Michigan team with Johns, was an AAU teammate of Vince Williams. Quatrick got that altered. DeLoach comes down with the basketball.
Yeah, just a difference in athleticism there. Quatrick, a great skill move to get to the rim, but then a faster, longer defender from behind elevates and blocks the shot easily.
Nick Kern back into the game, coming off a career game, and it's Nunn who's on his way toward a career game. 20 in the first half for Jayden Nunn.
When I said career high in the first half, I was joking. But he only needs 4 more to tie it, and he's got 8 minutes.
Yeah, set earlier in the non-conference portion of the schedule against Kennesaw State. Reynolds bottoms that from the corner. have to feel like maybe 10 would be a moral victory by half.
For sure. The Hawks just try looking for anything different, go zone. VCU puts it right in the middle of the defense, and Hawks maybe got away with fouling DeLoach on that attempt.
Yeah, DeLoach shaking his head, running away.
He also didn't go up with it very strong.
And Greer just draws what's the second personal on Ace Baldwin. St. Joe's with the basketball, trailing by 15. When we return, Eric Reynolds says, hey, I'll get the floorboard. St. Joe's still down by 15. But for the Hawks, Eric Reynolds trying to keep them in this as much as he possibly can.
Reynolds getting all the way to the rim. That was his first bucket, then a loose play for a dunk, and he'll still get a 3 from the corner off the find from Lynn Greer. But Nunn is outscoring the Hawks all by himself.
Yeah,
20 to 15 and 10 more from his teammates, and they've doubled up the home team.
Yeah, 5 different Rams have scored. Nunn on a perfect 8 for 8 night. Billy Lang looking for win number 1 against VCU. Talked about the significance of this game at the top of the broadcast. Some suggesting, and the two of us in that some camp, as Reynolds gets hit on the arm here, that this may be the biggest game of the Billy Lang era based on situation and opponent.
Well, they've proven they can be competitive in the Atlantic 10 this year, and it's been a huge step forward, and winning's been a great feeling for the Hawks. But at some point, they've got to break through against one of the top teams in the league, and with them needing at least one more win to get out of the first day of the upcoming Atlantic 10 tournament, suddenly this game takes on added significance. You get, you know, the league leaders on your floor when you're playing pretty well. You expect to be able to push them some, but not yet, at least not through the first dozen minutes or so.
8 now for Eric Reynolds, who's leading St. Joe's. Gwachik, Greer, and Cam Brown have also scored. And 2 of 3 for the all-rookie and potential all-conference selection, Reynolds.
The Hawks got to stop the last trip down when they played this zone. Nothing fancy about it. It's just they don't show it a lot, so it's probably not something the Rams were overly thinking about.
Stepping into the triple and off target, Zeb Jackson.
You just might need to shade that zone toward Nunn for the time being and let somebody else beat you.
Reynolds on the step back. Fleming the offensive rebound. Reynolds a second time knifing to the basket. St. Joe's a bucket to within single digits. Shriver going to try and change that, and does. David Shriver, who comes in as a top 15 shooter in the Atlantic 10 from the arc at almost 38%. That's his 45th make of the year.
He's been to the NCAA tournament with the University of Hartford, doing just that, making threes.
Yeah, played for John Gallagher. And then before that, played at Division II Alderson Broadus. And it's Nunn again. One shy of matching a career high. He's 9 for 9. A point within its largest lead again for VCU. Spin dribble for Reynolds, extension, and got it on the 10.
It's always amazing to me how he's able to put such a soft touch on those layups, moving at such a high rate of speed to the rim.
Johns missed the jump hook. He has good a body control as anybody for Eric Reynolds. Brown got the rebound on the second chance. Ain't off the window. And 4 straight for the Hawks. Shriver Shot ready. Air balls this time.
Well, when you say nothing but the bottom of the net, that's not what you have in mind. Maybe a step or two beyond Shriver's normal range. Brown using his, pretty good upper body to get into some traffic and get an offensive putback. Hawks need a lot more of it, though, and need to get some stops at the defensive end and cut down on the Rams' three-pointers, which they're making with ease.
Pick and roll game. Winborn sets up. And Fleming mistimed the jump. It's taken out of the air by VCU and Jameer Watkins.
Of course, I look at the floor right now for the Hawks. I see a freshman, 3 sophomores, one of whom is Greer, essentially a freshman, and only the one senior in Cam Brown.
Banks gets fouled here. They're a legit 10 deep. If they want to go to 11, they can do that too. They were actually in competition for their 11th man, St. Joe's and VCU. Christian Furman, who's a Pocono Mountains kid from Toby Hanna, all the way up at Pocono Mountain West High School.
Mike Rhodes going in his neck of the woods to get a couple of guys.
Yeah, we talked about it before as we look at Billy Lang. Mahanoy City, Pennsylvania, for Mike Rhodes, shares a hometown with the man that put together the Bad Boys Pistons, the late trader Jack McCloskey. Kern back in.
And a great Hawk All-American from the 40s, George Sineski, as well as his brother Paul.
Ah. I did not realize they were from Mahanoy City. Coming up on the 4-minute mark. 15-point lead for VCU. Good ball movement, stops at Brown, long on the 3. And Jackson out fighting his teammate DeLoach for the defensive glass. Watkins hopping. Banks ready to shoot it. That's long off the back iron. Brown again and an offensive foul, which will be his second personal.
And is that, I thought it was DeLoach that went down hard. Zeb Jackson bore the brunt of that collision.
15-point lead for VCU. Running out of Tuesdays and Wednesdays with A10 games. Inside of 2 weeks. Now VCU on its way toward a potentially 80-point basketball game. 15-point lead for the conference leaders. Up 15 here at Hagan Arena. Hawks trying to get support from their bench. Haven't gotten much, but Billy Lang very high on Christian Winborn.
I think we all are, but he's hit, I think, a bit of a wall these last couple of weeks. He's not had much lift on his jumper, but his defense is always worthy of attention, and he's so fast that he can be a threat either guarding the ball or pushing it offensively.
He's out there right now with Reynolds and Greer, Quachik and Lewis Bleachmore. And Tommy Morrissey says apparently the shot clock did not start, so they move it back to 28.
Yeah, because what the Hawks really want to do at this point is give the Rams more time to score.
Well, no, they took it down from 30 to 28. Watkins spins this out. Chased down by Bleachmore. Quachik fairly quiet in his return, just has the 3. Winborn, good find. Quachik, and a missile toward the backboard. Nice save for Bleachmore, and that should be off of the Rams. Running out of real estate down there.
SJU really fortunate there, as it was Not a great shot from Quatrick. Obviously got some rust, having missed the better part of a month. But then Bleachmore forced the loose ball, and Hawks got lucky when the Rams picked it up when it was lying on the baseline.
If you just tuned in, one shy of a career high here at the first half for Jayden Nunn. Greer leaning in. And shot clock violation.
Yeah, Nunn has equaled the Hawks all by his lonesome.
Yep.
He's got 23.
On 9 for 9 from the field, 5 for 5 from the perimeter. I mean, it's a nice luxury to have if you're Ace Baldwin. Some nights you don't need to score.
Well, and he's smart enough to pass it to the guy who is.
Yeah, who can. Riding the hot hand. And this time, Kern pushed off. Offensive foul on Nick Kern.
Brett Hampton very emphatic with that call. The Kentucky native asked me about the Wildcats in pregame.
The Bluegrass boys.
He said his dad, a big Kentucky fan, is very concerned. And all I said was, well, you know, maybe they should throw it to their best player more often. What do we know, Matthew?
Sometimes the numbers make sense, pal. Inside 3 minutes left here in our opening 20 at Hagen. Reynolds probing. Greer sees the opening. Quatrick, one more. Bleachmore set up and hits.
That's the way the offense is supposed to work, but you need to do the last step, which is make the shot, and Bleachmore converts on his first attempt of the night.
33% shooter from the outside, Louis Bleachmore. DeLoach rising at the rim, right over top of Quatrick, drops it in.
Once the ball gets to the center of the zone that deep, there's not much the defense can do. And that was too easy from a Hawk perspective.
Greer gets a screen from Quatrick. One-on-one with DeLoach, bodies him. Ran out of room. VCU crowd wanted to travel. Reynolds. Tough shot, got bodied.
Yeah, but nobody helped him.
And Watkins gives it right back.
He rolled it over toward us. Thought we were going to get another touch.
Another one, huh? I think 2 in one night is just greedy.
I think it was close to a Sports Center top 10, don't you?
Well, I mean, you would be able to put us in touch with the people that could do that.
Yeah, I have friends in low places.
Greer got it blocked. Nunn, hard cross. And Winborn says he fouled him, says Tim Clockerty.
And it'll be a 1-and-1.
Kern back in, Shriver sits down. Jayden Nunn can get his career high in the first half with a couple makes here. 23 already on the evening. But not this time. Missed the front end. Winborn, some English, and draws the contact on Nunn.
Of a bailout foul, because from that angle, I don't think Winborn had much of a chance to make the shot before Nunn fouled him. But you see the speed off the dribble for the freshman.
That might be the only thing that can slow Jayden Nunn down tonight. That's his second personal. Winborn, 59% free throw shooter, takes care of the front end. And actually 2-shot foul in the act of shooting. So Hawks actually getting some bench points tonight. A 1 of 2 trips, Shriver grabbing the rebound. You could be in that mythical land of down 10 points potentially. You got to stop.
Yeah, the zone has at least slowed down the Rams a bit, even though they've converted some against it.
Bleachmore with a big block. Sent that away from Johns.
He's given up some height, but not some altitude.
Shot clock ahead of game clock by about close to 2 seconds. Greer going to take it way down. Hawks taking a long time to initiate this. Greer got stripped, and the arrow will stay with SJU, which actually isn't the worst thing, because then you can get it designed inbounds maybe for Reynolds or Brown coming off of a pick.
It's a consolation prize after dribbling into a near turnover.
Correct. Bleachmore sits down. Reynolds catch and fall away and hit it. And the Hawks get themselves to within 10 at the break. Well, since this was an 18-point game, Hawks have outscored the Rams when it was 30-12. What's
Pat, you were right. Having a design play was better, but Reynolds, degree of difficulty very high. The Hawks have made this comeback a little less difficult, getting it to 10.
They'll start the second half down double digits. Jayden Nunn with quite a first 20 minutes for VCU. We'll have stats, highlights, and plenty more coming from Philadelphia when we return. Wrapping up halftime at Hagan Arena. This was an 18-point VCU lead. St. Joe's outscoring the Rams 18-10 to bring this down to 10. Let's take a look at our first half highlights and our stats too. The Jayden Nunn show in the first half, partner.
And it never stopped. He ended up with 23.5, 9 for 9, including all 5 of his three-point attempts. And here, showing some power, getting to the rim to finish over the shot blocker, C.J. Coleman.
And
on the other end,
paced by Eric Reynolds.
Yeah, as usual, the sophomore from Maryland, just electric, going to the basket and then makes a shot as the halftime buzzer sounds to give the Hawks some life as we start half number 2.
Impressive half, both from the field and the perimeter. And the 8 turnovers.
Look at those three-point shooting numbers, though.
Yep.
You look at that and you think, geez, 10 is not so bad if you're the Hawks.
And SJU actually getting its bench points tonight. Halftime down at the Robins Center. Richmond without Chris Mooney for the first time. In the charge of its several first-year assistants, trailing by 9 against SLU.
Peter Thomas at the controls. The Hawks open in this 3-2 zone that they employed with some success there at the end of half number 1. Using Cam Brown on the side of the floor where Dunn is camped out.
And Johns draws contact with Kwachik.
3 quick ones, if that's on Kotspur.
And it is. Oh, no, it's Fleming. Second one on Fleming.
I thought it was going to be on Kotspur also.
And so did I.
He didn't look guilty, though. It's a dead giveaway when the guy goes, I didn't foul him.
I didn't do it.
Then you know for sure he did.
John's a top 20 free throw shooter in the league at 75%, but bricks this one.
He's bigger than I remember.
The Rams' second miss.
Maybe he just looks bigger in the Atlantic 10.
Yeah, 6'8", 240. 1 of 2 for Johns to break this back to an 11-point VCU lead.
One possession at a time for the Hawks here. There's plenty of time left against a team which, while it had 40 in the first half, averages under 70. So there might be some regression.
Brown spins that three-point attempt off. St. Joe's one and done on its first trip. Was about to say, should note that both Ace Baldwin and Nunn have 2 personals each. Something to keep an eye on here in the first few minutes.
Of course, Baldwin's been pretty quiet because he hasn't had to be more.
DeLoach on the drop down, score at +1.
Bleached more quickly in for Fleming. Billy Lang choosing to go small and now smaller to start the second half. C.J. Coleman, who was out there for the opening tip, not so here in half number 2.
DeLoach completes the three-point play. Athletic family for him. Sister was a track star at Ohio State. Brother is a linebacker at Florida State. His brother Callan. Brown draws contact here with Kern on the baseline. Second one on Kern. Now 3 different Rams with 2 each. By the way, that the last foul that was on Cameron Brown was his 3rd. Brown setting up, back of the iron, still ice cold from the outside. He's 0 for 5 from the perimeter.
And the Hawks 4 for 17 from downtown now.
VCU almost 55% from the perimeter. Hawks sub 24. Kern wheeling that one up and got stuck on the heel.
It's hard to believe that didn't turn and roll in.
Bleachmore down with the defensive rebound. Brown flashes, extra pass. Greer cans the 3.
He's been quiet also. Hawks need all 3 guys in that backcourt, Reynolds, Greer, and Brown, to have a big half.
To your point, he had St. Joe's first bucket with the three-point play. DeLoach gets this basket.
John somehow got whacked in that tangle in the lane.
Mike Rhodes going to check in David Shriver.
Take out a little physicality and add a great shooter.
How much would Obina have helped tonight in terms of rim protection?
Oh, no doubt. And also gives you somebody to throw it to in the half court. But the pace of the game wouldn't have been great for Edge necessarily. Although it has slowed down some since SJU went to the zone. I don't think you'll see VCU get another 40-point half. If they do, they're going to walk home with a pretty easy victory.
Deficit was 10 at the break. It's now 13. Brown finding Greer. Sets up and hits. Like in those corners this second half, Lynn Greer. 9 points on 3 triples. 1 from the left corner, 1 from the right here in this second half.
Wouldn't be the first time we saw the Hawks play better after intermission, especially offensively.
DeLoach trying to face up and wheeled it up. Good job to keep his composure on that block.
I mean, he's in there against a double team, but they stay straight. He stays straighter and finishes pretty easily.
What's 13 now for Jayden DeLoach? And commits a foul here. His second personal. Becomes the 4th different Ram with at least 2.
You'll see DeLoach in traffic. A nice entry pass from Baldwin. Bleachmore with the double team is on time, but just better offense. Better skill around the rim for DeLoach.
Hawks is a team 4 for 6 from the line. Brown's first attempt of the night makes good on it.
Problem with that number is the 6. Only 6 attempts against a team that plays pretty physical brand of defense. The Hawks not often strong enough with the ball to draw those calls.
and rattles it in. Well, we have games where there's a number that seems like an invisible force field. Right now it's a 10. It was 10 at the break. Baldwin, good head fake. Watkins with an entry, nice cut. Baldwin from DeLoach, and that's basket interference.
I was going to drop too. I think Baldwin's shot was going to be a basket. We'll take a look at it. Of course, if you're DeLoach, you can't fault the effort. This is a great pass to the cutting Baldwin. And if you see that is,
it's probably going to bounce in.
Look, clearly a goaltend. And the Hawks a chance to get through your force field.
One thing to St. Joe's credit, they've kept the Rams off the free throw line for the most part. VCU with the 6th highest free throw rate in all of Division I coming into tonight. Kwachik couldn't finish. Watkins, who played at Trenton Catholic, got the rebound. DeLoach shouldering Kwachik, missed the jumper. Kern wanted the tap and almost had it, and they give it right back. Jackson got the steal.
That was like a quarterback didn't see the safety over the middle. Jackson cut right across for the interception.
Nice find. Baldwin steps into it and spun it out.
Rams letting the Hawks hang around a bit. We'll see if they can take advantage.
Winborn, good bounce to Reynolds. One more. Brown was right there. And that should be off Kwachik, and it is. Played almost 5 minutes. We're right where we were at the break. It's VCU by 10. They're on an Atlantic 10 Tuesday night. 7 days to March, folks. Let's have at it. 2022 Atlantic 10 Field Hockey Champions, St. Joseph's Hawks team ended up honored. What was an on-court ceremony?
It's become an almost annual tradition for the nationally ranked field hockey program here at St. Joseph's. Did you know in the Atlantic 10 championship game against UMass, they did not allow a shot? Forget a goal.
A shot.
And then won and advanced in the NCAA tournament for the first time in program history. So congratulations to those young women on the best season yet by an already great program.
And of course, that was under head coach Lynn Farquhar. They'll have a new head coach this year.
No, this past year they did.
Excuse me. Hannah Price.
Hawks have had 3 trips down 10 to try and get it to single digits, unable to do so. And they stay in this zone to try and kind of hide their small back line, but give up the baseline and a layup.
That was Baldwin. This lead has been as many as 18, and Baldwin and the Rams threatening to push it back that way. Just got the steal. Nunn spun it out, but got it again, and has a new career high in the process.
Was that his first miss?
It was. 25 for him, new career high for Jayden Nunn. Winborn long in the three-point attempt. Well, it's a game where, just like a couple road contests ago at Duquesne, you basically have trailed wire to wire.
And as great as Eric Reynolds has been, about once a night, he just kind of has one of those unforced turnovers, and it always turns out badly.
Well, this is going badly again. Kern knocks down the triple. His first one of the night. Rams 7th as a team, and a timeout for Billy Lang. And they'll extend it to a full. VCU back to within a point of its largest lead. Rams by 17 here on Hawk Hill. VCU by what, 17? 55-38 Rams. And what's the 16th ever meeting between the two? Rams lead the all-time series, what's 10-5. And looking for what's their 4th in Philadelphia. And Jayden Nunn trying to get them there basically almost single-handedly. There was a point where he had outscored St. Joe's by himself.
I'm trying to remember if the Hawks have beaten VCU since the 2016 conference championship game.
Don't believe so.
I want to say there was a home win here a couple years after that.
I think actually, now that I think about it, I think you're right. Running out of time, Quachik and the Hawks. And good hands there for Baldwin. Kern was able to pick it out of the air. Here comes Nunn. And rises and hits. Not much different.
I guess he's had his one miss for the night.
January 2018, you were right, an overtime win. 87-81. Quachik bodying Johns. And a foul on the Michigan transfer Johns. So yeah, January of 2018 was the last time it happened.
Got it. Charlie Brown, Fresh Kimball, and Nunn. His career night continues. He's got 28. Is that right?
25 now. Oh no, 28 because they didn't count it on the stat monitor.
We knew it all along, Matt.
Yeah. Well, the mark of a good team. Can you go on the road and win in conference and do it consistently? Baldwin takes the contact. Brown ends up hit with the personal. Slew by 8 right now at the under 12 in the second half on Richmond. Actually, just as we say that, Tyler Burton hits the 3 to make it a 5-point game.
They'll stay within a game. And these two teams, VCU and those Billikens, play in the regular season's final weekend, but it's at VCU.
Are they the most disappointing team in this league?
I think Dayton is the most disappointing team only because their ceiling was higher.
Correct.
But I think Dayton has shown some flashes of still being able to deliver. And I think the Billikens might be cooked.
Winborn off the front of the rim with that take. Well, I mean, how many of these conversations have you and I had over the years where you look at rosters and as they let this one fly, Watkins with a miss. But you look up and down rosters and you count how many bona fide pros do you have? And Dayton, I think, has a definite, obviously, in Holmes.
And maybe
Kamara. And that's 3-letter league pros.
Definitely Holmes.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Kern on the drop-off. Nice find there for Ace Baldwin. And timeout St. Joe's.
2 in fairly short order for Billy Lang. And the Hawks seem to have hit that wall down 10, never could get through it. And VCU blowing it out the other way.
Under 12 left here in the second half. Largest lead of the basketball game for Mike Rhodes and the Rams. Have really showed out here in Philadelphia. Hawks from here will have 2 more regular season games left. They'll go to St. Bonaventure on Sunday and then finish up a week from tomorrow on senior night against the Richmond Spiders right in this building.
Bonnies have been up and down, but their ups are pretty high. Just ask these Rams.
Yeah, they were one swallowed whistle away from winning in OT the other afternoon. James Bishop getting fouled on a 3-point attempt, and down 1, proceeded to knock down all 3. GW beat St. Bonaventure by 2.
In Olean. Nice pass.
Greer with a good drop off. Fleming got it altered. Nice job by Jameer Watkins. Fleming stayed with it and couldn't get it to stick on the jump hook.
It's just been so obvious, the lift and athleticism of the VCU front court compared to the Hawks on all these shots that have been swatted away or challenged at the rim.
Yeah, more Nunn in the first half in the backcourt as he keeps going and now has 31, but was about to say more DeLoach in the second half. But Jayden Nunn's career high keeps getting bigger. Now up to 31 here on 12 of 13 shooting. Bleachmore right to the front of the tin, score the basket plus the foul.
I think if I were a dean at VCU of whatever college Nunn is enrolled in, I'd write him a note to sleep in tomorrow. He's earned it.
No homework for a couple of days.
I think he's done his group project quite well here tonight.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Winborn in for Billy Lang, and I expect him to be on Nunn. He can, at times, be the heat check defender, but it's too little too late, even if it works.
At this point, there's just too much heat to check.
Exactly. But he is on Nunn. We'll keep an eye on that matchup, lower left of your screen.
Baldwin rising left of the lane. Fleming the defensive glass. Winborn slicing to the basket. Free throw line trip coming after the 3rd personal on Jaden Nunn. So do you think it's Dayton that's cutting down the nets in Brooklyn?
Well, I'm not ready to go there. I just think that they have, if every team in the league plays at its ceiling, they have the best roster. And they're the only team in the league that probably has 2 first-team all-league guys.
Split the season series, did VCU with them. One back on January 13th at the UD Arena. And then Dayton came and evened it up. What was exactly 2 weeks ago tonight. Came into the Siegel Center and won. Fleming hits the offensive glass here.
Hawks trying to do a little bit of their own pressure. They've got Bleachmore out high. Usually it's Fleming in that spot, but he's needed at the back of the press because the Hawks don't have Obina, and they haven't played Coleman here in the second half.
Yeah, to your point, Fleming all the way back there with DeLoach, who's had a big second half. Reynolds got a hand on that, knocked it out of bounds. I mean, definitely a different landscape of the league this year. It's been a while where basically on any given night.
Yeah, there have been some strange results, that's for sure, which is ultimately a good thing.
Shriver sets up, tees the 3, long in the attempt, and Fleming down with the defensive rebound. But just no one real dominant team this year.
Well, it was again an issue of not winning enough up games in the non-conference. That's kind of impacted everybody's numbers in terms of postseason consideration.
Yeah, top 3 in the league, a combined 2 quad 1 wins, or actually 3 of them. VCU with 2 of them, SLU with 1. But Rams the only one of those 3 that has an over 500 record in quad 1 games.
Meanwhile, a certain team named Kansas has 14. 14.
I know it's trendy, and they won a year ago, but I've watched them enough lately that I think they could do it again.
They can. Let's not forget the team that might be playing at home.
The Cougars took care of Memphis the other day.
I saw them here in Philly at Temple a couple of weeks ago, and they had a very pedestrian first half and decided to turn it up in half number 2, and they just ripped the Owls to shreds. And I think the Owls have some players.
There's a good combo there in terms of veteran leadership and youth.
Well, they have more depth and more explosiveness offensively.
And speaking of explosiveness, Reynolds now has 18, but he's been about it for St. Joe's.
It's been far too quiet a night for Greer and particularly Cam Brown.
Shriver with a good ball fake. The teardrop. That's why I guess the perimeter is more his forte. Nice flash for Quachik, sets up Fleming and hits the 3. Pick it up with inside of 8. Again, can you get a stop and make this semi-interesting?
Bleachmore's brought a lot of energy off the bench, and Fleming always does.
As I was going to say, as Louis Bleachmore usually does. Jackson got that punched, but Fleming got a lot of body too. And Zeb Jackson will be headed to the free throw line when we return. VCU's lead has been as many as 25 points. Rasheer Fleming knocking it back down to 16 here at Hagan Arena. Well, not too far out from Center City, Philadelphia. Our producer Jack Hurlbut tells us our copters out there tonight. Hawks trailing by, 16? VCU coming in, shooting it at 48% and 52 from the arc. Rams, for the most part, winning just about every category. And Hawks only ended up, we're worried about turnovers, only ended up giving it away 11 times. VCU 14 points off those turnovers. Hawks with 7 off of 6 VCU giveaways. So it didn't end up hurting quite as much as anticipated. But either way, VCU coming in here and basically running this wire to wire. The Michigan transfer, Zeb Jackson, to the free throw line. Rams are 9 of 12 as a team. Talked about Jackson before, said he committed to VCU 4 days before Brandon Johns entered the transfer portal. Had the game winner up in Kingston. What will be a week ago tomorrow. And both free throws here for Jackson. Rams by 18. This loss will send St. Joe's to 7-9 in the league as Kern takes this and jumps the passing lane and sent Greer into the first row.
He probably did a nice job of pushing off there, and I think Greer might have hit his wrist against that.
And came up
lower
holding
stands, but you know, it was a really weak pass by Reynolds that led to that run out.
Greer trying to curl with that issue with his wrist.
And I mean, look, Eric Reynolds is too good a player to not know. Makes a mistake like that, and you know, if you're VCU, why are you fouling 40 feet from the basket like that?
Up 20. Rams going to go to 21-7, 12-3 in the Atlantic 10. Hawks 13-15, 7-9 at conference play. Be their 6th loss in this building this year. And folks are wondering, as Reynolds short on this one and out of bounds, this would knock them to 7-9 in the standings. If Richmond ends up coming back against SLU and finding a way to win, then they would jump SJU. They'd have the same number of wins but less losses.
Going to come down to that last home game to get a bye, isn't it?
It probably is, yeah. Right now, SLU up by 5 on Richmond.
And for VCU, it's going to come down to that last Friday night at home against the Billikens.
Greer commits the shot clock violation here. 13th St. Joe's turnover. Yeah, as we say that, SLU starting to put some separation between the Billikens and the Spiders. Javante Perkins just got a layup to make it a 7-point game.
Steal.
Fleming right to the cup, off the window.
Yeah, Fleming now at the top of the press with Cuthbert back in the game on the back line. Rashir's got incredible reach and a very high ceiling as a young player.
A shame for his teammates at Camden what ended up happening. Their regular season and trip to the state tournament canceled.
I mean,
after what was an altercation post-game the other night.
Don't people know that it's a basketball game?
Johns drills the 3. I mean, you would think. But either way, DJ Wagner, too good a player to not be able to show his talents in the state tournament. Reynolds with another triple. 21 for him. Don't think he'll be an 1,000-point scorer this year, but it'll be the first couple games of next season.
I never get tired of watching him because he's always moving. And he never comes out of the game anymore. Last year against these guys, I looked, he played all 40 minutes. This is a hard team to play 40 minutes against.
He has already logged his standard 35 tonight. Johns Jr. got the bucket. Quachik a bit shaken up.
Right ankle seems to be what he's favoring. That's the last thing the Hawks need is another lower body injury.
We said Sunday afternoon trip to Olean in a game that will be on national television. Always amazed by Mark Schmidt's ability to just get guys that fit, the pieces that fit his system.
Bleachmore on the offensive foul, an illegal screen.
So second one on Louis. Two-1-2, three-quarter court for St. Joe's. DeLoach punches it down over the top of it.
Hawks have had no answer at the rim for DeLoach tonight. And that's where an Ejike Obina would come in handy. Or even C.J. Coleman.
15 now for DeLoach. He's done most of his damage here in the second half. Brown hopping and hanging. Leachmore taking it away. And lost his footing. Called for steps. 14th St. Joe's turnover.
I think it was kind of torn between a pass and taking it up himself, and the indecision just tripped. And the other end, DeLoach, pretty high percentage shot. Leachmore probably fouled him. And the officials, maybe like the rest of us, getting to the point where they want just get this over with. Not really been a competitive night.
No, it was 10 at the break and couldn't really get it inside 10.
Never did.
Never did. And there's DeLoach again. Great find. He's too shy of a career high. Set earlier in the year against UMass. Brown long on the three-point attempt. This has not been his night. 0 for 7 now from the perimeter. Watkins going to try and get himself on the board in the homecoming. And the Trenton native will be at the free throw line when we return. All VCU basically from the jump tonight. Rams by 22. That you have on what's Autism Awareness Night tonight.
Yeah, both teams, both programs, all the coaches in the Atlantic 10 staff wearing those lapel pins, bring awareness. The Hawks had an anthem singer from autism program here. Of course, St. Joseph's the home for the internationally known Kinney Center for Autism Education and Research. Some great work in support of families, and also getting bachelor's degrees for young people to work in a field that sorely needs trained professionals.
Excellent job by the administration here tonight. Jameer Watkins, the Trenton native who played his high school ball at Trenton Catholic, wasn't going to be denied getting on the board tonight.
Well, we said, Matt, that if VCU had another 40-point half, they were going to sail home with a huge win. Well, here we are. And the Hawks can't inbound, forced to call timeout. And this is another full.
So Watkins just made those 2 free throws. Made me think of that program that he comes out of, Trenton Catholic. Think of some of the names that have come out of there. Malachi Richardson from Syracuse a few years back. And, you know, less than 10-minute drive over to Drexel. Franz Massenet was a Trenton Catholic guy.
How about that Mark Bass?
Ah, that's right.
Longtime Hawk assistant and great player. We get a look at Ace Baldwin doing what he does best, making his teammates better. Johnsbury's a 3, and that's been a recurring theme. I think DeLoach has been, you know, the best supporting actor tonight, if you will, for VCU, after the obvious Oscar that goes to Jayden Nunn for just a career night, obviously, 31 and counting.
Always impressed with the way that Mike Rhodes manages his minutes for his guys. You look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, basically 8-man rotation, where nobody's played less than 16 minutes tonight. Led by the 31 points from Nunn, who basically almost got to a career high in the first half. Slew is only up 1 on Richmond, and Yuri Collins has just picked up a foul. Spiders have tied up the game on the free throw with 1 minute and 10 seconds left. Hawks give it back.
Yeah, there's no denying it at this point, Matt. We've seen a lot of bad basketball tonight from the home team. Another unforced turnover.
And what, if it keeps going this way, will be the biggest home loss of the year. Usurping the 97 that they gave up against FDU back in non-conference play.
Kind of
There's
thought we
DeLoach again.
Kind of thought we'd put that one in the rearview mirror.
Winborn with 2.5 left. Richmond is now ahead of SLU, by the way, with 36 seconds left down at the Robins Center.
You know, the VCU program, Matt, is really due for some good fortune. You know, they made the tournament
in 2021
in the bubble and then couldn't play due to a COVID situation, and that team had Atlantic 10 Player of the Year in Bones Highland, could have done some damage. You know, your Marcus Evans got hurt right before, or in between the A-10 tournament and the NCAA tournament. And we know how good they can be in the big dance when they get there. Oh, travel.
Yeah, the one trip that they had where they actually got to play ran into a Taco Fall-led UCF team that probably should have beaten Duke in the next round.
Absolutely. I can still see that layup rolling off the rim in the second round game.
Aubrey Dawkins, right? I believe that's who that was.
Yep.
Winborn with the curl, acrobatics, got bumped and fouled by Toby Lawal. Well, we talked about what St. Joe's has left. Rams 3 regular season games after this. They'll have the rivalry game Friday night against Richmond. And then a home matchup with SLU, back-to-back home games. And then finishing up on that first Saturday in March on the road at GW.
Yeah, I think I was mistaken earlier. I thought their last game was against SLU, but the last Friday night game is SLU and Dayton.
That should be a good one.
Well, because that's what people thought
the
race would come down to.
Lawal got caught up with C.J. Coleman on the dunk attempt. Winborn gets it punched out. It's Josh Banks off the bench with a blocked shot. Only his 4th one of the year.
Hopefully Winborn gets a little stronger in the offseason, Matt, because it looks to me like he goes up sometimes on those drives just kind of hoping to get fouled, not really with an avenue to lay it in.
Well, I'm sure there'll be plenty of work in the offseason with Eric Lang.
No doubt.
Hawks strength coach. No relation to Billy Lang.
I did ask him once if I worked out with him in the offseason, could he make me taller? And apparently that's not part of the program.
I was going to say, how'd that work out for you?
Not well. But I did improve my stationary quickness at catching loose balls out of bounds.
Excellent. Richmond is up 4, by the way, with 25 seconds left. Spiders just knocked down a 3.
Folks watching in Richmond may or may not like that, depending on whether they're VCU fans or Spider fans. And I would guess we've got more Ram Nation viewers tonight.
Sure.
Those games are concurrent.
But that would put them at 7 and 8, ahead of the Hawks, perched with Bonaventure, and would drop St. Joe's back into a 10 spot, meaning they would have to play on the first day of the second game up in Brooklyn.
Now Winborn went up a lot stronger that time.
And some personal frustration there for Christian Winborn.
And he burns to win, that young man. And I'm sure this year has been a learning experience in a lot of ways.
And we'll stay at this end. Foul on St. Joe's. Christian Furman was the one who was fouled. He'll go to the line.
Just that last game for the Hawks is Richmond at home on March 1st. Just keeping them sharp in the control room.
This is the freshman Furman from Toby Hanna, PA. Way up Route 80, but an area where Mike Rhodes very familiar. Couple of walk-ons for St. Joe's, Chris Harrison, Brian Geetons, in addition to Louis Bleachmore, Winborn, and Coleman. Rams going to finish with Toby Lawal, Shriver, Jameer Watkins, Josh Banks.
And Winborn is going to finish with 3 free throws on a call that I don't think was appreciated by either side.
And Arnold Henderson, the 5th member of VCU that's out there right now. Couple more bounces for Winborn. And most of his damage tonight done at the foul line. VCU can more or less just hold for the last one if it wants it, but Shriver wants a triple. Rams led wire to wire tonight and will maintain their lead on first place in the Atlantic 10. VCU 88-63 over St. Joe's to go to 21-7, 12-3 in conference play. Hawks dropped to 13-15, 7-9 in the A-10.